Trip Zero back for the 800 watt grow light. This is the power. So I have four 18 gauge sets of 4 each. Sets of 4 wires. There's 4 wires in each little cable here, and they're all bundled together, but this is the delivery to the lights. And like I described in my previous video, I'm using XT60 connectors. This box with the fan on it is the light controller box. Let's open it up, I'll show you what's inside. So this is the 16 channel light controller. It's got 16 MOSFETs, and down at the bottom I have all the positives connected to this bus bar. The red lines are the 24 volt lines, and the white is the for 32 volt. And then all the grounds are attached to, so this is the ground coming from the power supply, the ground for this is the 24 watt volt ground, doesn't really matter, but I've got the 32 on this other side. Sorry, you can't really see great. Let's turn on the light. But the whole thing shares a ground, so it's not a big deal. I could have used the common for at least one of the positive voltages, but I didn't. This is designed for, each MOSFET is supposedly supposed to do 5 amps at 100 volts DC, but I don't know if you could see, this MOSFET right here got a little hot during my testing at less than 5 amps. I was testing one of the red diodes, and I got it up near 80 watts, which, 21 volts, and that's 4 amps. So it got really hot, started to smoke. It's still functional as far as I can tell, but I can still smell it. So and then that is the particle photon. I've got my CO2 sensor. You've seen that from a previous video. Let's look at the other power components. The source of power are these two 350 watt 24 volt power supplies. I've got one powered at about 17 volts. This is for the red diode, and the other one's for the blue, and this is doing a normal 24 volt output. There is a little dial right here. You can adjust the voltage plus or minus like 3 or 4. It's not really a lot. I got it down to 17, which I'm pretty impressed with. So that's what, minus 7? So maybe it's plus or minus 7. That's a pretty good width. But these are Meanwell 350 watts. I'm only using 2 of them right now, and I'm underpowering both the reds and the blues because I'm afraid if I power them too much, those MOSFETs will melt. That's also the reason why I have the fan. I want this controller to last. It was about $140. ncd.io is where I got it from. Sitting in between the supply, so again, source, this plugs into a 110 outlet AC. It will go into this box here. These are the Buck Boost constant current, constant voltage supplies. There are 3 of them. I'm only using 2 of them right now. So again, red, I've got this, it's not boosting at all, it's just controlling current. And then the blue one, for the blue diode, it's boosting to about 30, taking 24 volts input, outputting about 30 volts. The blue diodes in my test ran at about 75 watts, and I'm okay with that. They're 100 watt rated, but I'm underpowering them and that's going to be just fine. So even though it's capable of 800 watts, I am running it at about 600, 650, close to 700. But these power supplies only go to 350 anyway, so 700 total for those two supplies. I could add a third one, and I would definitely be able to push like the blues to 100. But for now, let's just keep it like this. Each of these are rated at 600 watts. I do have two fans, so they will keep cool. They do get warm, and in fact, even though they have pretty sizable heat sinks on them, you're not supposed to drive. You probably couldn't do 600 watts with them without active cooling the fans. So that's it. That's how I'm powering this beast. I'm going to put these in a similar box to this. I've got to go take some older supplies out of a box I already have and put these ones in, and I'll reuse those supplies for something else. But again, about 700 watts, 24 volt supplies, boosted to whatever they need to be, going into the dimmer controller, and then going to the lights with these guys. Alright, hopefully next video will be me plugging everything in and showing it working. I'm waiting for one part to come. It should be here tomorrow, so stay tuned for hopefully the final video in this series of the 800 watt do-it-yourself build of a awesome grow light. Cheers, Trip Zero out.